Today, people are involved approximately fake news, and its impact on politics and social issues. And with fake information sites getting better and higher at searching legitimate, so it's far a severe concern, particularly with the upward thrust of deepfakes making it tougher to differentiate a fake character from the real deal. However, maximum fake information tales are without a doubt simply designed to get a upward thrust out of human beings, or for a quick laugh, and class is rarely necessary. The reality is that humans often accept as true with things that confirm their own deeply held biases, without ever making sure the new fact is absolutely true, and we will cross over 10 examples of this phenomenon in today's article. A few years ago, anybody changed into falling for testimonies about ridiculous youngster fads left and right, and one of the strangest was one about bed bugs. A tale claimed that teenagers were surely smoking bed insects, so that you can get a new, grimy and horrifying kind of high. This tale became shared throughout social media, and quite some of humans took it seriously. Now, maximum people were short to recognize they'd been had, but they should by no means have been fooled in the first vicinity. The most cursory Google or Wikipedia search could prove very quickly that bed bugs are not known to have any properties that could get you high, in any form, and the idea people just have a large supply of bed insects to crush up and smoke inside the first location isn't sincerely very believable. In fact, maximum humans are so disgusted with the 8 of them that they won't go everywhere near them, and to even get enough to strive smoking them within the first place, as they are normally in part digested blood, could be quite difficult. Regardless, masses of human beings to begin with believe the story. Around the identical time people were convinced that teenagers were getting excessive on mattress bugs, there was a moral panic going around about some stupid middle college stuff that youngsters have been doing for generations. Essentially, a new hysteria became created over youngsters messing around with Smarties. Now, for those not in the United States, and who every now and then have a different model of the candy referred to as Smarties, the version within the USA are chalky, sugary little discs, with a vaguely fruity flavor, wrapped in a clear plastic. For generations, kids were gambling around with these candies, and pretending they may be cigarettes or what have you. Kids will open up the back cease and to smoke it, and even crush the opposite cease and blow so it appears like they are smoking. However, within the latest articles, the media changed into going wild about youngsters snorting them, something that rarely without a doubt occurs, as doing it frequently would be painful. Regardless, the media located one health practitioner who stated that if children genuinely did it regularly, and didn't clean out their noses, a maggot could locate it an attractive place to nest. This brought about the media breathlessly reporting that kids everywhere have been prone to getting nasal maggots from the very occasional games they played with Smarties, and parents anywhere went wild and believed the ultra-modern panic. There is not any evidence of any kid getting nasal maggots from crushing up and snorting Smarties. It turned into handiest idea from a medical doctor that were given taken out of context. Several years back, when Kim Jongun had greater lately taken over as chief of North Korea after the loss of life of Kim Jong-il, satire internet site The Onion became lampooning him on a normal basis, and enjoying all the jokes they may suppose of based totally on his bodily and personality characteristics. Considering he's a instead overweight man or woman who tries to hide it with outsized trench coats, but can't hide his double chin, and who does no longer appear to particularly show quite a few character or aura in general, The Onion decided to go along with a joke approximately his elegance to the alternative sex, and ran with it. The Onion produced an article saying that Kim Jong-un have been named the sexiest man alive. While even those who aren't in particular precise at satire would have the ability to parent it out from the context, it can be harder to recognize whilst something is sarcastic if it isn't your first language. That stated, China Daily turned into seeking out whatever positive that could have been stated by way of the West about Kim Jong-un, and latched onto the thing without truly checking to make sure that it wasn't a joke. While it become a bit of an embarrassing mistake, it's not something Americans should feel too advanced over, as they agree with stupid tabloid fodder out of China, approximately the Chinese all of the time. But don't sense too badly, China. As you'll see on this article, masses of people get fooled by using the onion. Back while Barack Obama turned into none less president, The Onion favored to run plenty of articles about how humans didn't like him, and could take it to the maximum ridiculous extremes whilst satirizing his presidency. In one among their more absurd articles, they said that a recent Gallup poll confirmed that 77% of rural, white Americans could alternatively vote for Mahmoud Ahmadinejad than President Obama. In fact, the ballot went on to mention that these equal rural, white Americans could also alternatively go with the Iranian president, than they could with Obama, to go get a drink or experience a baseball, generic term, together. This became really satire, given it got here from, The Onion. However, that didn't prevent one Iranian news corporation to grab keep and run with it. Now, the Iranian News Corporation Fars changed into searching out high-quality pieces approximately their chief and towards the Western leader, and it seems quite obtrusive that whoever selected to sell the news from this article possibly wasn't a local English speaker, and apparently became no longer too informed. Approximately the artwork of satire, and honestly become surprising with The Onion. Since the early days of the internet, Eminem has been one in all the most death-hoaxed celebrities, which is as a substitute unusual as there may be no particular reason to accept as true with he would die so often. A rumor back in 2000, while the internet was most effective starting to blow up, claimed that he had died in a car crash while overdosed on capsules and alcohol. His management fast denied the rumor, and Marshall Mathers proved that he become, indeed, nevertheless alive. By, nevertheless being alive, and stuff. Then, in 2006 any other loss of life hoax stepped it up a notch, via not most effective claiming that he died, but additionally that the most effective motive we thought he hadn't truly died turned into that he had been replaced by means of an Illuminati clone. Then, in 2016, yet some other hoax claimed he died, which turned into another time disputed by his control. Just this 12 months any other hoax claimed that he had died. For those not keeping track, this is an average of one main loss of life hoax each 5 years, with a few human beings convinced that it's all a part of a central authority plot to update a prominent and influential artist with a clone who they can control. While many have had death hoaxes, it is difficult to give an explanation for why he has had so many. While Mathers did have a stint in rehab over some drug problems, he has been a long way from one of the most self-detrimental celebrities to get hoaxed over their very own alleged dying. This summer season an information tale become making the rounds that even made it to outlets just like the Washington Post earlier than they'd to issue a correction. It claimed that a 17-year-old Dutch woman had died by using criminal euthanasia after she had been given authorities' approval. Considering her age and the arguable nature of euthanasia, many people have been worried at the alleged movements of the Dutch government. The hassle was that the authentic US story, taken from a Dutch information source, was absolutely not true. Whether due to deception or language issues causing a misunderstanding, the first English version of the story claimed that she died from euthanasia, even though the Dutch newspapers did not say one of these things, and soon English language information sources have been copying the unique English tale like crazy. After the unique, inaccurate, stories made the rounds, a Politico piece located that the entire component turned into untrue. The 17-year vintage, a younger mental fitness activist and rape survivor named Noah Tahun, had actually now not been allowed criminal euthanasia like she petitioned for. They wanted her to be at least 21 first, earlier than they even considered it. Instead, she stopped eating or consuming and died of malnutrition, essentially taking her personal life. The USA did no longer legally allow euthanasia for a minor. With fake news all over the place, humans are worried approximately its influence on politics. But one of the more not unusual side outcomes of fake news is humans buying extra and more vain products, because of fake superstar product endorsements. Scammers attempting to promote whatever present-day snake oil they're hawking will hide their advertisements or movies as celebrities showing you how effective a new product is. The tales will claim that the most beautiful people of that cultural moment are using their product and it smiles just the finest thing in the universe. These stories are also becoming more difficult to spot, as fake information gets better at looking real, and arising with names that sound like a legitimate source. Also, to make topics worse, with deepfakes human beings can even use celeb lookalikes and a touch editing to make it look like the actual celebrity themselves is endorsing something on camera. The first-class way to shield yourself from that is to now not believe a product endorsement if you don't see it on a major information website, or on the superstar's demonstrated social media. Celebrities as a minimum have their reputation to worry about, so if they certainly suggest something, it is probably at the very least now not harmful on your health. However, whilst you purchase from scammers, you clearly have no idea what you're getting, or if it's at all secure for human use. Back in 2017, Kellyanne Conway spoke in want of President Donald Trump's proposed Muslim ban, by bringing up an incident that happened in Kentucky in 2011, known as the Bowling Green Massacre. She claimed that due to the incident, President Obama had briefly suspended travel from Muslim countries. Now, people were quick to point out that there has been in no way this type of aspect because the Bowling Green Massacre, and Conway later said she misspoke. She was virtually regarding a little recognized incident where, again in 2011, Iraqi refugees were arrested in Bowling Green, the third most populated city in Kentucky, for trying to send money returned to Al-Qaeda. However, whilst the men had admitted that they had attempted to set up hide gadgets in opposition to American soldiers even as they have been in Iraq, there has been no evidence that they had hurt each person in the States or had any plans to do so, until you rely the more indirect harm sending cash to Al-Qaeda would finally do to the troops. The factor was, there was no recognized plan for a Bowling Green massacre and none ever occurred. Regardless, while polled, 51% of Trump supporters believed that any such aspect as a Bowling Green massacre sincerely happened. In 2011, The Onion ran a story about Planned Parenthood constructing a gigantic, sprawling abortionplex, in Kansas, of all places, a purple nation where it's tougher to get abortions because of state regulations, that had, among different things, a 10-screen movie theater, numerous restaurants, a bar, and a variety of space to walk around, keep and experience yourself each before, and after, your abortion. The story fooled a lot of people, and that alone could have made it fairly noteworthy. However, it continued to have viral legs lengthy after its preliminary publication. About a year after its preliminary posting, the story became republished, and this time consultant John Fleming of Louisiana published it to his fans telling them to read it, and see just how awful Planned Parenthood sincerely become. Now, the post became quick deleted whilst it changed into talked about that it changed into satire, and it is able to were an intern and now not the actual congressman himself, which, frankly, is much greater likely. However, the damage to his popularity became already done, and now many people, even individuals who believe him ideologically, suppose a lot less of his intelligence. Back in 2011, it began making the rounds in all the legitimate news sites, local and national, that young university-aged college students had a new way of getting drunk quicker, and that way become through taking a shot of alcohol through the eyeball. Lots of alleged movies surfaced, supposedly showing young adults conducting this risky practice. Doctors have been quoted with the aid of news agencies, pronouncing that it'd make human beings pass blind, harm eyesight in general, and now not even get you under the influence of alcohol faster. That is what all the news tales speculated became the purpose humans were doing it. Ingesting alcohol by means of the eyeball is dangerous, and no longer an efficient manner to get drunk. For this motive, it must have been obvious the whole thing become a gaggle of nonsense. While a few humans may also have certainly attempted it on a dare, likely numerous the videos were honestly faux and now not alcohol they have been installing their eyeball, and in well known the idea that it become happening more than once in a while, if at all, was surely no longer believable. The cause being that now not most effective turned into there no real proof on social media that this become any form of trend. However, if it had been taking place often, there would have been far extra reports in the media of human beings having to visit the hospital because of eye harm due to the practice. Unfortunately for individuals who desired to trust this sensational story, those reports by no means surfaced and the furor over all of it died down quickly.